back to Cashing Out here on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues here on VSIN with me, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through your Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And I'm excited now to welcome in one of our favorite guests, a guy who breaks down NFL props like none other, a guy who doesn't sleep, stays up 24 hours a day, chugs 4 energy drinks for this spot. To join us live from Philadelphia on the East Coast from the Progressive Guest Line, it's our friend, Tony Cutillo. Tony, how are you, my man? How did you enjoy Wild Card Weekend? What was your biggest takeaway, maybe biggest surprise from Wild Card Weekend, brother?
Oh, man, Joe, what's going on? Wild Card Weekend was great. I know a lot of people were saying they were disappointed, and, you know, not me, man. I was loving every minute of it. I would say not for me a surprise, but for a lot of people, were how good the Rams look, man. Like, I've been talking about the Rams for months about how good this team can be. And now you just saw it right there, man. I think it was a great game by the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams were phenomenal. Look, I wasn't discounting the fact that they were live to win the game. That's why I didn't go with a full game play. I thought they would start slow, though. I thought if one team punched the other in the mouth early, it would be Minnesota. And then, of course, Sean McVay is one of the best in the biz, and the Rams, of course, would be able to adjust. But I couldn't believe that the Rams were the team that came out swinging with everything they've had to endure off the field the past week. That start really shocked me and just speaks to Sean McVay and how incredible he is. Maybe we'll get to some Rams-Eagles plays in a few moments. Let's get to Tony's props. By the way, Tony, the beautiful thing about props is that when people complain about games being blowouts and not close, well, if you have props, maybe, you know, if a side is completely out of reach in the third quarter, you still have something to root for. If you're looking for a guy to get one more catch, 10 more yards, let's get into it. Houston, Kansas City, what do you like from the Texans? Maybe their quarterback, CJ Stroud, in the prop market.
Hey, man, CJ Stroud, one thing about him is he honestly surprised me. That Texans team really surprised me. They came out strong. DeMeco Ryans, man, he had that defense balling. I mean, made Justin Herbert look pedestrian at best. But the one thing I noticed about CJ Stroud was when the offense wasn't working, he started to use his wheels and he started to run. And I look at this matchup against Kansas City, and Steve Spagnuolo is notorious for flushing the quarterback out. And he had 6 rushing attempts last week. Now, the last time this happened, he had 6 against Miami, who flushed him out as well. So I love, again, and this right now, it's plus money. I don't know if it's going to last for plus money, but his over 3.5 total rushing attempts, just like the one we hit on Baker last week, I really like this as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good call, man. With the way that Steve Spagnuolo brings the blitz, especially. I mean, so much talk, especially with the Monday night game, about Brian Flores and the Vikings with the top blitz percentage in the league. Spags' teams are never far behind. How about the other game Saturday? Washington, Detroit. What do you like out of the young stud Jayden Daniels? By the way, he bucked the losing streak. 6 straight losses for rookie quarterbacks on the road in the playoffs. Daniels said, I'll take care of that one. Forget the cover. Wins outright in Tampa. What do you like out of him?
Man, I just number one, I mean, the league is in such good hands right now, to be honest with you. I hate that he's in my division and in the NFC East, but love watching this kid play and shows how much Chicago made such a bad mistake on this. His over and under to me is way undervalued. I don't understand it. Going up against Detroit, his over and under right now sits at over 224.5. To me, that number is way too low. It's a little juiced up right now. I think a minus 130 is the best number you can get. But look at him. He should go for 250 or more. What's going to happen with this game? It's going to be a shootout. They're going to have to throw to keep up with that offense of Detroit. So the attempts are going to be up. The yards are going to be up. And he's shown he can hit these numbers, Joe. So I really like the youngster against a very, very hurt secondary in Detroit.
Any other Commanders players that you're going to be targeting since you're worried about the Lions' defensive injuries?
Hey, man, how about that Dyami Brown, man? Like, you know, Dyami Brown has really come on over the last couple weeks. A lot of people want a ton of money on Dyami Brown last week, and they're going to win a ton of money on him this week. Listen, it's a guy who continues to get targeted at least 4 times in the last 5 games, and he's been in double digits. Oh, by the way, all of them. And only one game he's been under 20. The rest, He's been 25, 30, 35, 56, 89, and his prop is over 28.5 at a very, very modest number. I think, again, he's become the number 2 option in that offense over Zach Ertz. So look at the Omni Brown to play some really big numbers up against Detroit.
How about on the ground game, my man? What do you like there? Maybe a guy to have a bounce back spot who stunk last week.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that, man. And he did. He was not good. But again, I think it was game script. I went into that game. I had a lot of Austin Eckler bets in that game. I thought he was going to be utilized a little more, and he was, because the passing game was predominant in that game from the running back. So he only had 10 attempts last week. That's B-Rob. Brian Robinson. Listen, Detroit, again, his last 2 starts have not been great, but I expect them to run the ground a little bit more, because once that offense starts cooking with Detroit, they want to keep them off the field. A little more ball control from Washington, which, again, that signals more rushing yards for B-Rob, which is over 34.5.
Our guy Tony Cutillo joining us on the Progressive Guest line here. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Rise with Tony, Rise with a Z. Tony, we alluded to it, the Eagles-Rams game that we'd be coming back to it, circling back with some picks here. No action on the Rams, but what do you like for the home team, the Eagles, in the earlier of the 2 Sunday contests?
Yeah, listen, one thing I'm going to go back to the well, man. For those who follow me, I hit it last week. I hit the triple play. I had the Dallas Goedert triple play. I had the over 3.5. I had the over 28.5 and the touchdown. I'm going to go right back to that well again, because the one thing about Jalen Hurts is he loves to utilize his tight end. And the thing about this is A.J. Brown, as much as you want to talk about it, he does have a knee issue. The swelling has come up week in and week out, and he wasn't the same guy last week. And I look at this game, the way McVay and, again, Shula on the defensive side is going to call this game. I think Goddard's going to be open a lot, in the middle of the field and out towards the flat where he loves. And this number 2, I'm going to go 2 plays on him, Joe. Over 3.5, I think, is such a modest number at minus 110. He's a lock to me for 4 or 5. And then over 33.5. The good thing about Goddard is he has a high yak, man. He's not like Zach Ertz where he catches and falls down. Goddard runs, he stiff arms, he makes moves. So over 33.5, I really like both of those plays.
Man, we love some yak on cashing out, don't we, Tony? How about
the yak, man?
How about the game?
If you don't have good yak, what do you have?
Right, exactly. It's all about the yak. Last night we had the sack, 9 of them against Darnold, and now with Goddard, we got the yak. Tony, what about the game that I think everyone's waiting for? I mean, this one opened Buffalo laying 1.5. Now it's Baltimore laying 1 point to 1.5. Let's just call it a pick'em. Let's call it what it is. It's a pick'em. There's a reason the NFL schedule makers, thank everything, got it right. They made this the night game Sunday. We're going to have to be patient, wait all weekend for this one. Lamar, Josh Allen, unquestionably the top 2 MVP finishers this season. They will be this season when the awards get revealed Super Bowl week. I am so stoked for this game. What do you like on the Buffalo side of things? Because I see here you got to play for each team.
The NFL put me in a bad spot, Joe, because they put my Eagles ahead. I'm all fly, Eagles fly, and I think the Eagles are going to win. But God forbid if they don't. How do I even get excited for this game afterwards? You know what I mean? Like, they really put me in a predicament. But going to the prop market, listen, Lamar Jackson has not thrown for less than 2 touchdowns since week 11. Okay, since week 11. So to get his prop again at over 1.5 touchdowns at close to plus money right now. I mean, minus 108, a guy who's just been lighting it up. And I don't think it's going to be any different in this game. So I'm all over that. And on the Buffalo side, listen, I get it. He didn't have a great game, and that's Dalton Kincaid, but he's so athletic. He's so physical, and he gets the max volume when it comes to targets. We're talking 20 in 4 games. I like the over 3.5. And by the way, that's plus money. And the one thing the Ravens do is they don't cover the tight end well because they're utilizing their linebackers for the extra pass rusher. So I like Kincaid in that game too.
And take us home, Tony. I think we got a little we jumped to the conclusion a little early here with flashing the pick on the screen. Take us home with your play for the Ravens side of things.
Oh yeah, that the Lamar Jackson that we talked about. Yeah, again, Lamar Jackson over 1.5 touchdowns. Again, like I said, he's not Joe. He's not been under this number since week 11. So he's thrown at least 2 or more. And this guy is going for the MVP, man. Like I know that doesn't count the playoffs, but Joe, I'll tell you what. I don't know about you, but looking at this offense, it's borderline unstoppable the way Derrick Henry's running as well.
Man, I can't wait for this one. These two offenses, I'll tell you, whether it's Allen and Cook running or Lamar and Henry running, what they can both do with their arms, this is going to be, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, Tony, because it reminds me of that divisional round game 4 years ago, Chiefs-Bills. And how that felt like it should have been the Super Bowl. Then, ironically, neither of them make it. We get Bengals-Rams. But this is feeling like it could be the best game of the postseason. I can't wait. Can never wait to have you on. Always love the spot. Tony Cutillo, appreciate the time, my man.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend, brother.
Will do. Up next, folks, we're bumping it up a segment early. Top Hat Tuesday.